guys to the R.o.D podcast, where only the facts shall set you free. Are you dumb or are you dumb? And I'ma holler at y'all.
It's your brother, man, from the motherland, Junns The Voice for the Voiceless, aka Mr. Keep My Foot on All Religious Necks. Welcome to the R.o.D podcast, where we only deal with facts over beliefs. Tonight, we're going to expose something that too many people glorify: the streets. The streets ain't no lifestyle, ain't no culture, ain't no badge of honor. The streets is a setup designed to destroy black men while making the system rich. And if you don't believe me, let's break it all the way down, shall we? Cool. The streets is an illusion versus the reality. The sell pitch: fast money, right? Fast money, flashy cars, women, respect. The reality: prison cells, funerals, broken families, and forever lasting trauma. Every young brother thinks he can beat the game, but nobody ever beats the game. The house always wins. And the house is the system, okay? Which is 1,000-0, undefeated, okay? Rappers and OGs who brag about the life but end up, right, dead, broke, or locked up forever. The streets is like a game of casino. It's rigged against you. You might win a hand or two, but in the end, you will lose everything. I repeat, you will lose everything. Okay? Now let's talk about how this trap was built. Okay? As you guys can see, okay? The systematic design: we got schools that's underfunded on purpose. There's no jobs in the community, which forces brothers and sisters to hustle, sell drugs, the whole shebang. You got liquor stores and check cashing places all through your community, corner stores. You got everything. Now we got dispensaries all throughout the black and brown community, right? All of these things are around us, but no banks or fresh food, okay? There's nothing that's beneficial that's designed to help us as people. You understand? We have the drugs and the guns. We have the crack epidemic that wasn't random. It was a government warfare on the black community. Illegal guns circulating heavy while legal ownership is blocked. So you can gain access to firearms, but you can't get access to legally own these firearms. You see, they need you to walk around with these illegal switches, so when they lock you up, they get to put you behind the can for a long period of time while there's nobody here to protect your family, especially those that has children, okay? Cultural reinforcements, okay? Record labels invest in violent music, not the uplifting music. Movies glamorize gangsters but hide the trauma behind the camera, okay? Movies is glorifying this lifestyle. You know, when you got movies like Power that glorify being a top drug dealer, and you get to buy homes and, you know, own clubs and live at a big skyrise that look over the entire world, but meanwhile you was just a regular Nigger, Nigger that was just around to literally get locked up and thrown into jail, and all the nonsense that come along with it. The movies glorify that, but they don't glorify the phone calls. They don't glorify the pain that mothers go through when they find out their son is incarcerated, or they find out their son is unalive, or that they found out their daughters was essayed, or they found out their child was molested. Something. These are the things that is never glorified, never spoken of in these movies. And if it is, it's the black man's fault behind that, right? So let's talk about the pipeline effect that comes along with that. Failing schools equal what? Juvie. Once you in that system, mentally, you're prepared to go back to what? Prison. So failing schools lead to juvenile detention. Juvenile detention most likely is gonna lead you to prison. Juvenile detention will lead you to prison. Prison, if you don't wise up and you don't do the necessary things, it can lead you to life behind bars, or you might be unalive and you will spend the rest of your life under the dirt. Okay? The school to prison pipeline, guys, is for real. This is real life, guys. Okay? Let's talk about section number 3. How the system profit off prison beds. Big business, guys. Big business. Okay? Mass incarceration. U.S. equal 5% of the world's population, but 25% of its prisoners are black men jailed nearly 5 times more than whites. You don't find that?
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
Don't you? Private prisons, for-profit prisons sign contracts demanding high need as much heads inside those prisons as possible. And the same people that's invested into these private prisons are the same people that's invested into that is invested into your curriculum you learn in school, that is invested into the movies that you watch, the TV shows, the love and the hip hop, the Real Housewives and all of this. They are the ones that are funding these things, because the objective is to have everybody in a state of self-preservedness. Forget everybody else. Everybody else is a dub. I'm gonna do me. I'm a gangster. I'm a fight. I don't need a man. I don't need a girl. I don't need nothing. This is what's being invested. This is what they're using to destroy the black and brown. Okay? So we just spoke about the private prisons. For-profit prisons sign contracts demanding what? High occupancy rate. Okay? Occupancy rate. That means that they need black men locked up to stay in business. I repeat, that means they need black men locked up to stay in business. We have the prison laborers. We have inmates forced to work for pennies. For those that ain't never been incarcerated, you are literally being paid like 5 cents, 10 cents an hour, guys. Strictly slavery at its highest order. And the 13th Amendment loophole legalized slavery as punishment. Only if my people can understand that everything that you're doing mentally, physically, emotionally is literally taught behavior by law enforcement people. More arrests equals what? More funding, more jobs, more police budget, which leads to what? Faster police, more AI cameras. That's literally there to do what? To do what, guys? To incarcerate more and more black men, black children. And guess what? They're even coming for the black woman. Okay? Bottom line, guys, every brother behind bars equals in somebody else's. Let's talk about it, can we? Section 4, the real setup. This is the setup right here. Families broken and the communities being destroyed. The real setup, okay? Let's talk about the family breakdown. Fathers missing leads to what? Kids being raised in pain. And when a father's not around, that child will be raised unbalanced. Everything in life is all about balance. You got good and evil. You got up, you got down. You got left, you got right. You got your left ear, your right ear. You got your left leg, your right leg. Everything is about balance. And when a father is not in that house or a mother is not in the house, that child is being raised unbalanced. And it shows. We all show signs of children raised without that balance, okay? Which leads to women forced to raise children alone. You understand? Let's talk about the community destruction. We are over here, street beef kills more young black men than wars overseas. Let me say that again. Street beef kills more young black men than wars overseas. The fact that we as black people who know we came here on ships, who know we was violated, who know that things that was ours was taken from us, for us to know all of this, to still look at a fellow comrade like they are the enemy, like they are the reason why you're suffering, like they are the reason you're going through your trauma, is absurd, people. It is absurd that we can look at a fellow brother and say, I don't like you. And because I don't like you, I want to snipe you. I want to unalive you. Okay? The trauma repeats generation after generation. I hear everybody talking about it's time for us to build generational wealth. Generational wealth where? How? Don't you notice every time they see black people becoming prosperous and elevating, they create narratives and make it even harder for you to reach the top, because it was never designed for any black man or woman to reach the top of the totem pole, because with that position, you can align others to be in that position. With that position, it's easy for you to gain and demand your freedom. And that's something that this system, and I repeat, this system cannot. Okay? Let us continue. Let's talk about the cycle of poverty. A felon, check this out, guys. A felony makes it almost impossible to work, get housing, or even vote. That leads to what? That pushes people back into the streets. He knows he can't get this job because of his record. He knows that he gotta settle for these dead-end jobs because of his record. But when you see that your wife is hungry and your daughter is hungry and everybody's dependent on you to provide, you're going to go back into the streets. It's hard for a man to say, yo, mom, let me borrow this. I need to have that. It's hard when you reach a certain age. It's hard. So that pushes what? The black man into the streets, which leads to what? Which leads to prison, and that is something that is going to end up being P. Okay? Modern slavery also comes with this prison complex. I told you guys this. Chains today ain't iron, they are paperwork. Okay? Court dates and probation. Yes. This is what modern day slavery is. Okay? The biggest factor of it all is the fact that we as people are not aware that we are still enslaved. When you look up slavery back in the day, slavery, the slaves worked but was fed and was given water and clothing, but they didn't have no pay. When you look at today, you work all day, you get paid, and now you're able to buy certain things to make you feel, I guess, good. But at the end of the day, that money goes to the same people that put you in these circumstances. I want you to understand that, people. There's nothing new under the sun. Okay? Now let's talk about how the streets don't age well, shall we? So as you guys can see, I showed you, this is a post where you got an 18-year-old, a 30-year-old, and a 45-year-old. Okay? All right? At 18, as you guys can see, I'm getting money. I'm living my best life. I'm chilling. I'm a gangster. I'm earning my respect. I'm making my rounds through the community to make my presence be known, whether it's through fear or whether it's through love. But by 18, you outside, you doing what everybody, right? But at the age of 30, some of you guys will end up dead, others locked up, and others will just be flat out paranoid. That's what comes with being a street nigga. Okay? You're gonna end up dead, locked up, or completely paranoid. And if you survive all of that and you reach the age of 45, there's a high possibility that you're going to be a bitter man. You're going to be worn out. You're not going to be able to stand up. You're not going to be able to move like how you used to because you're worn out. Your body is broken. The lifestyle you was living, all these late night alcohol drinking, weed smoking, women slapping. Look what happened. You end up being in a position where you are suffering. 45, bitter, worn out, and you still chasing this dream. There's a high possibility that at 45, you're still seeking a music career. There's going to be a high possibility at 45, you're still seeking some level of validation. You're still going to be seeking attention at 45. And yes, in the Black community, we lead the category, okay? There's not a dream for us to chase, people, okay? The last person that had a dream was assassinated, okay? And everybody else who tried to mimic that dream end up churning in. And this is a fact, guys. This is not an if, buts, or an assumption or an insertion. These are facts, okay? So, just to give you guys a heads up, right? Nobody retires from the streets, people. Nobody builds wealth from the streets. The streets is a dead end with a headstone at. That's what comes with the streets. The streets is 1,000. The streets is a myth. The streets is a lie. There's nothing for you. Let me rephrase that. There's nothing in the streets to glorify that can justify you and represent you the way you're supposed to be represented. The streets won't provide that. I am sorry. Okay? Let's talk about the alternative. Let's talk about the alternative, guys. The real hustle. This is the real hustle right here. Black owned. Okay? This is the real hustle right here. Let's flip the hustle. That same grind used in the streets can be used for business. Entrepreneurs are hustlers with paperwork. For all those that sold drugs, you may not know this, but let me tell you this. You are an entrepreneur Negro. And your job is to understand you are an entrepreneur Negro. Take what you learn from that hustle into the streets and put it in something productive where you won't be tied down under these European sheets. Or should I say tied down by these European elites. Okay? You want to build ownership, right? Start businesses, buy land, invest in skills, things that can't be taken away by cops or the courts. Okay? Now, generational wealth. Like I say this all the time, Everybody talk about this generational wealth. There's not a generational wealth of anything being created until the black man and the black woman, until they become one, they will. Because every time they see black people are getting close or raising up the bar when it comes to money that's generally coming in annually, when they're getting close, or they merging the gap, or they bridging the gap, should I say, they do what? They create new laws. And all of a sudden, there's new policies, there are new foreign relationship rules, regulations that always affect the people that are into commerce, into selling products. It ends up slowing you down, or it ends up making you have to charge, brothers and sisters, like this tariff nonsense. This is the prime example. This tariff nonsense is affecting everybody. It's so sad that somebody like myself will go into a store, get a bottle of water, okay, and a protein bar, and it will come up to $13, $14. That is absurd. Okay? So when we talking about generational wealth, yes, leaving your kids houses, businesses, knowledge, not trauma and debt, yes, that is beautiful. That is what we want to leave behind for our children. But our children can never run away from the trauma. Okay, our people could never run away from that unless you compromise, unless you know the system in and out. And shout out to all the brothers that's knowing the system in and out and is capitalizing off this knowledge that they have. But not too many of us got this knowledge, and not too many of us is allowed to have this knowledge, because too many rich black folks is literally detrimental to Europeans. I'm just saying. Okay? So for the people, check this out. The system designed the streets to hustle you. It's time to flip the game and hustle the system instead. Get your hustle on. Get your hustle on. The same energy you doing bagging up, learn about the stocks. I just had a conversation with my Wiz, and now when she said, is this more things that you're going to need me to do? And I had to say to myself, like, you know what? You're right. I shouldn't even be requesting you to do all of this. This is my responsibility. And I can't make excuses for the things that I should have control over. And that's the same thing that goes for you guys. Okay? Now let's talk about being a civilian in school. Now you guys can see in this picture here, you see a father holding his son's hands, freely walking down the street. You see that he has stores that's open, right? Freedom, family, legacy, right? Being a civilian is cool. Nothing wrong with that. I don't see nothing wrong, right? We're gonna break the stigma. Being a civilian ain't weak, it's strength. Real men protect, provide, and build, not destroy. Let me say that again. Real men protect, provide, and build, not destroy their family, not destroy the community, not destroy themselves, not destroy, but build. Okay? Here's the benefits of a civilian. The freedom. No parole, no looking over. You have your family, raising your children, being able to watch. You provide legacy, building businesses, owning homes, leaving something behind, living without the consistent fear, knowing you build, okay? And there is nothing corny about being a father, a husband, a builder. That's gangster, people. That's the real flex, is being a father, being a provider, being a leader, and not claiming these foolish nonsense that has been compromised. All these games has been compromised. This is why now they're ready to remove all you niggas. things. They have to remove all the threats. Anybody that can pose a threat to the establishment, they must remove. And they're starting with removing all you want to be. Okay? I'm just saying. So we're going to wrap this up, guys. The streets ain't culture. The streets ain't family. The streets is slavery disguised as freedom. And the only people winning are the ones building prisons, not the ones filling them up. Okay? This is a call to action, brothers and sisters. For all my brothers, it's time to break the cycle. Flip that energy into businesses, education, and ownership. Stop feeding their prisons and start feeding your family. All right? And never forget, people, being a civilian is cool. All right? Never forget that. Stop feeding this system. Stop feeding this system. Feed your family. Take care of your loved ones. Take care of your children. All of us, including myself, we have to take care of our family. And we don't need any outside support for these issues. And with that being said, guys, it's your brother man from the motherland, Junns The Voice for the Voiceless, aka Mr. Keep My Foot on All Religious Necks. This is the R.o.D podcast where we all deal with facts for beliefs. And please like, comment, share, subscribe, share this with friends, family, and whoever. And to all the brothers and sisters that want to play the street lifestyle, share this with them. And with that being said, it's your brother, man. You understand?